Midwest Whitetail is brought to you by Realtree, Muddy Outdoors, Frigid Forage, Hoyt Archery, Fuse Accessories, Rocket Broadheads, Scott Archery, Redneck Hunting Blinds, Cabela's, Bloodsport Arrows, Trophy Rock, Yeti Coolers, Non-Typical Wildlife Solutions, Quiet Cat, Deer Grow, Icon Cameras, and Nikon.
Welcome to Midwest Whitetail. We've got a lot of action for you in today's episode. I'm going to spend some time putting together the Nitrum 34. Last season, and I believe the season before that, I hunted with the Carbon Spider 34, and that's a great bow. The guys in the office have been shooting this Nitrum, and they're raving about it, so I thought I'd better get my hands on one of these and get it set up too and see what all the fuss is about. But that'll take up part of the episode. We've got some action from the field. Let me start with the simple stuff. I'll go ahead and put the sight on. This is the Interceptor 5-pin. I like pin combinations of green, red, green, red, green. And they can customize these however you need them. Target shooters and Western hunters, a lot of times, will shoot a sight with the extension all the way out. You can see I've got it fully extended here. I just don't like to have that much sticking out in front of my bow for whitetail hunting because I'm pulling my bow up into tree stands all the time. I don't want anything out there that can really catch. So I pull them in tight, try to get it inside the frame of the bow. Okay, I've got the rest in place. I've got two things that I need to do next. And you're gonna laugh at me when you see the tool that I'm gonna use to do this with. But it's something that you can pick up pretty easily yourself and you don't have to go to an archery shop all the time. The biggest limitation I think that people have with working on their own bow is having a bow press that they can take the tension off the string. And it doesn't have to be a lot. You only have to really flex the limbs just, half an inch. But basically I just use the limb hangers, twist on the handle, and that shortens up the steel cables, which takes some tension off the string and the harnesses. I've got two things I'm going to do here. I'm going to insert the free end of the cord on my drop-away arrow rest into the downward moving harness. And I'm also going to put my peep sight in. Okay, so I've got that in. I'm going to shoot a knocking loop this year. In the past I've shot knock sets, attach my release aid underneath the arrow. So I just like being able to get on the string real quick and easy with a caliper release. But I'm going to go ahead and shoot a string loop release this year. At least I'm going to start out that way and kind of see how I feel about it. So next step is to build the loop. This is just loop cord, and I've found that if you cut it off at 4 inches and then fray up the ends, that gives you about the perfect length. Next step is to tie the cord around the string. You're going to go with your end that you're tying off, your knot end. You're going to go inside. You're going to go around the back of the loop cord, and you're going to go back around the string again on the other side, and then through that little gap that you formed. The other one, I want to flip the cord around to go around the string on the other side. If you have the knot tied where both knots are on one side of the string, then when you draw the bow back, the string is going to want to turn. All right, so now I've got my loop in place. I've got my carbon blade stabilizer that I put on. And one of the advantages with the blade stabilizer is it's got a limited cross section to wind. It doesn't have as much surface area to blow against as if it's more vertical. Real close to being done here. I'm going to go ahead and put my quiver on now too. All right, there's a hunting bow right there. This baby's ready to roll. It's nice and quiet. I mentioned that I switched to the bowstring knocking loop, at least initially here with this bow setup. The release I'm using is the Silverhorn from Scott. It's a real nice release. Slips onto the loop real quick and easy. The other thing I like about it is you can see how close the trigger is to the hook. And that's important because with a knocking loop, you will end up shortening the draw length of the bow if you're not careful, which shortens your power stroke, which potentially reduces the amount of energy you can put into the arrow. So we don't really like to do that if we don't have to. So a release where the hook is real close to the trigger, it reduces downsides to using the loop. So you definitely want to get your hands on one of these silver horns. These little short nosed releases are perfect. So I've got my bow shooting good. Let's move on to some infield action.
The marathon continues out here on our public land. Zach and I came to one of our river spots tonight. Aaron, look him over there. Over there. The neat thing with this area is that it is very hard to access. So the best way to access it is using this canoe. That's a big key to hunting on public land, is figuring out creative ways to access your stands and get way back in there where nobody else is going to go. Well, it's September 3rd. We're back out on the public land. We got the canoe on top of the Smurf here behind me, and we're getting ready to take it off and get in this river channel over here. This is really close to the same spot that I killed my buck at last year. The only difference is this season we've had a pile of rain. As you can see, a lot of this stuff has been way up, and that's actually allowed us to get into some places that we wouldn't have ever been able to had the water been down. So John Lewis and myself and the interns have all been paddling around this lake and these rivers for the last couple weeks, kind of scouting some spots, and we've got a really good one in mind to go look at today. So we're going to throw the canoe off the Smurf, get it in the water, and go check it out. You can see all that grass over there is all flooded, and we're actually in the river channel right now. This is the same river that we were on last year, but there's been so much water that we're actually on the river bank right now. It's about 5 feet below us, but all that stuff's been flooded up through there. A lot of these deer are getting pushed up on the high ground, and that's what we're going to check out right now, is a big thick patch of cedars, big bedding area that I found on an aerial photo. But it sits on a high ridge above all this stuff, so I'm assuming it's full of deer right now, but we're gonna go check it out. We just made it up in here. It's about a 1.5 mile canoe ride, but it was actually pretty easy because, like I said, the water's so high. You can see all this stuff is dead where the water was up, in the past few months, but it was really easy to get here with the canoe. I'm not anticipating it to be that way come November when we're going to be hunting in here. We're going to have to walk somehow. But that brings me to a good point about hunting on public land, and that is access. We talk about it all the time, and how you need to find areas that are good but are very hard to access, that people just aren't going to go to. I mean, the only way that anybody is getting in here to hunt is either coming in off private land or coming in with a canoe. You can't put a boat in this area of the river. That's the biggest lesson that we've found when hunting public land, is you really got to get creative with your access routes into these stands. I mean, we're gonna go up on this ridge and check out this bedding area now, and hopefully we'll find what we need to see. But if you're crazy enough to do it, sometimes you can be rewarded. Well, we made it back up in here to the spot that I picked out on the map. The canoe's only about 300 yards from us. We actually used this little ditch to get up on this nice little flat ridge. And I'm always talking about hunting the downwind side of bedding areas, specifically in spots where there's a change in cover or a change in habitat. As you can see right here behind me, we've got this big thick stand of cedars, which is prime bedding cover. And then we've got these big red oaks that lead up on this oak ridge right here out into these fields. Now there's quite a bit of agriculture out here to the east of us, where I'm sure that the deer are feeding, but there's lots of acorns and stuff in here as well. For whatever the reason though, I really like these oak ridges right along the edge of these bedding areas. You hunt them with a wind blowing straight out of that bedding area. It'd be coming out of the south in this instance, and you could get set up in one of these big oaks right along the edge of this cedar line. There's lots of trails coming through here. Blow your wind out of the bedding area and back towards the canoe. It's really a bulletproof spot. You can sneak in here without disturbing anything. And if bucks want to cruise the downwind side of this bedding area, they're going to come right down this oak ridge from the food in the mornings or to the food in the evenings. So it makes a lot of sense. I mean, this is exactly what I look for. And we're probably going to have a stand in here this fall, but today's scouting mission's complete, and we've got some rain moving in, so we need to get in the canoe and get back to the house before it hits.
Well, it's August 30th, beautiful foggy morning to be getting some work done on the farm. Checking cameras, making a few mock scrapes, but the main priority is to come out here and get some plot boost sprayed on a couple of these secluded food plots. I came and planted some big and beastie probably 2 weeks ago now, and this spot that I'm standing in particular is the one I'm most excited about. Held a lot of good deer last year, a lot of bucks just using this area, and one in particular, George Brett, this was kind of his core spot. So the scrape that's right behind me is a spot that's, I got the most pictures of George Brett last year. I have no idea if he's alive or not. I have not seen him yet this year, but I'm banking on him being here, so trying to get a good food plot put in. Like I said, today gonna get the plot boost sprayed on it. Just sets up nice. You know, you got creek access over here, just a long narrow food plot, secluded back in these pines. So I'm excited about this spot. I'm hoping the big and beastie's gonna come up good. Gonna get the plot boost sprayed on and go check a couple more cameras, but we're less than a month or almost a month away now, so things are getting close, scrapes are opening up. I'm excited to get things going. Well, it's been a productive day here on the farm. Got some food plot work done. Only checked a couple cameras, or actually only flipped through the cards from a couple cameras, and a lot of young bucks, but nothing good so far. I have a few more to check before I get out of here, but I'm confident once the scrapes start opening up and these deer start moving to their fall range, I'll start recognizing some of the deer from last year. So I'm looking forward to that. Between Mike's new farm and this place, we should have some good deer to hunt. Should be a fun fall. And speaking of Mike's new farm, we actually were down there yesterday in southern Iowa and getting some work done. So we'll show you kind of what we did yesterday and show you some of that action now.
Welcome to Midwest Whitetail. It's August 29th, Saturday. We're down here at the new farm. I just purchased a 260-acre farm down here in southern Iowa, and really excited to get to learning it. Jared and I came down here this weekend. We're checking the plots. Over the last few weeks, I've put in 3 different plots of big and beastie, totaling about 2 acres. Things are coming up nice after this last rain, so we're going to get our Deer Grow plot boost sprayed down. Checking the cameras, just seeing what's out there. Soon we're going to head down to one of my spots I'm excited about. It's a bottom field that we put into turnips, and I got a picture of a really nice buck down there, so we're going to head down there in a little bit and check it out. So this is the spot I was referring to earlier, a spot I'm really excited about on the farm. Got pictures of a good buck down here. Came in here, this was an old hay field, turned it over, put big and beastie in. We're standing now at the northeast end of it, and I think it'll set up real nice for a southwest wind. There's multiple big trails coming in just in this corner, surrounded by a few big cedar thickets and an area of TSI that's really thick, the deer bed all around down here. And if I can get this big and beastie to come up well, which it looks like it is, really excited about getting in here early season and seeing what we can do. This tree here is one of the tree spirits on the farm, and happens to set up well for Jared and I to get in and get a big buck. So in the next week or two, we're going to get a stand up in this tree, and we'll bring you some action from this spot in early October, I hope. Good job.
Okay, I love you.
Alrighty. Well, we just got looking through some pictures here. Pretty excited. Got quite a few good deer. And I'm sure more will show up today. Jared and I run around and noticed that a few scrapes were opening up. So when I come back in a couple of weeks, we're going to move the cameras to the scrapes and see what deer are in the neighboring area. Right now I've been running them over corn and mineral and have quite a few nice ones that we'll show you guys. So the next few weeks we'll keep bringing you this the farm as we learn it. We'll bring it to you and show you what we're learning. It's 260 acres, never been on it before, and learning as we go. So I'm sure it'll be exciting. I'm really excited for opening week and to see what this season brings.
I'm coming up from my backyard target area here and walk past a burrow tree. There is a pile of acorns on the ground here. So that's kind of the theme that I'd be looking at for the early season hunting this year, is going to be these acorns. And everybody I've talked to all over the place is saying the same thing. Tons of acorns. So get out, scout the oak trees in the areas where you hunt, make sure that where you're putting your early season stands coincides with the location of some big oaks that are dropping acorns. You should be seeing the deer at that point. Well, that's it for this week. I appreciate you joining us. We'll see you right back here again next week for the next episode of Midwest Whitetail. And remember to always dream big.